Okay. Hello. Sorry about that, guys. Trying to get set up on the stream. I'm Verge, by the way. We're just trying to get the stream set up. It was giving me some issues. But I think we're all set now. I think we're good to go. I am Verge. If you guys don't know who I am a former RLCS coach, and I now run the coaching operations at the GrandChamp Bootcamp. This is not Luke. You guys are correct. Hello, hello. All right, so today we're going to be looking at the difference between Diamond and GrandChamp. Can't hear me? Can you guys hear me? Somebody said let's go Verge. I think you can hear me, right? You guys catch an audio? Or no? I hope so. Hope I'm not talking to myself. Okay, perfect. All right, today we're going to look at the difference between Diamond and GrandChamp level plays, decisions, and pacing. So I'm going to take you guys along for the ride. We're going to find a Diamond replay here, and we're going to do doubles. So let's just jump into Diamond 2, the mid-range Diamond. And
hey,
then
buddy.
we want to make sure... Uh-oh. How do I turn those alerts off? Oh, God. All right. Let's see. We want to make sure it's ranked. Where is the rank? There we go. Ranked doubles. This season. Diamond 2. Any map. Let's filter it. Low audio? Audio's fine. Very low. Uh-oh. Let's see. Turn the gain down a little bit. Maybe turn my fan down. Did Luke quit? No, I'm just going to be doing today's event. I'm just the one who's running today's event. We're doing Diamond versus GrandChamp. Luke is moving today, so he's just unavailable to run the event. But I'm going to be doing one event a month here, and he's going to be doing one event a month as well. So, all right, these are not Diamond. Let's filter. These are still not Diamond. Season 14. Oh, minimum rank. Okay, maximum rank. There we go. Let's go. Diamond 2, filter. Audio's fine. Okay. Yeah, I mean, on my end, I'm seeing the numbers. I mean, my mic is turned up as loud as it goes. So I can't really turn much else up, but all right, let's just grab the first replay we see here, and then we're going to look at the difference between that and a GrandChamp 1 level player. All right. Again, just to introduce myself, if you guys don't know who I am, I'm Verge, former RLCS coach. Just recently retired a couple months ago and joined the GrandChamp Bootcamp as the director of coaching operations. So that is who I am. And today we're going to be doing a Diamond level player versus a GrandChamp level player, what the difference is. Where's Luke? Luke is moving today, so he's in the middle of a move. So unfortunately, he can't be here. But that's okay. We're going to go through some replays and look at some differences between what these players are doing. So let's just start off with the Diamond. He just had a glow up. You glow up. Yeah, it's me, guys. Spook Luke here. I logged into the wrong account. Yeah. All right. That's the wrong one. There we go. Refresh these pages. Should get a play button popping up soon. Nice wallpaper. Yeah, Luke just gave me his account. I am Luke now. I'm running his YouTube channel. Guys, Luke is just moving today. That's all that happened. But we're gonna be taking a look at the difference between diamond level players and GrandChamp level players, and seeing what exactly it is that separates a diamond level player as far as decisions, rotations, mechanics, and pacing. This is a Diamond 2 lobby. We're going to take some notes. So we see here, like this, I think this happens quite often in Diamond. This is probably one of the things that we're going to see in difference in the GrandChamp. The situations like this, this player stops and kind of backs up, tries to figure out what he needs to do next. And I think we'll see in GrandChamp a lot of times that's not going to happen. A player isn't going to stop too often and like look to see what they should do next. A lot of times these players in GrandChamp are going to be moving into the next play pretty quickly. What happens here? Yeah, that's going to be a free save typically. So it's just a mechanical error. Guys, Luke is just moving today. He wasn't able to run the event, so we're here, and I'm gonna be doing this once a month. He's gonna be doing it once a month, so we'll be running 2 free events a month. Thank you guys for tuning in. Luke will be missed. Yeah, I'm Luke now. Come on. All right, so somehow the game tied up. I missed it. What were we? I was yapping on. Kickoff happens. Ball floats to the side. Yeah, that's a pretty standard goal. I think that should go in pretty consistently. So one thing I want to talk about real quick is the job of the first, second, and third man. In twos, there's only 2 people. So these roles are going to be distributed between 2 people. Typically, your first man is going to be 1 role in twos, and your second man is going to be the second and third man in twos. So the first man's job is to pressure the play. As first man, that's your job. You want to apply pressure to your opponents. I'm hiding these behind a camera. Whoops. Do 2 there, 3 there. So first man's job is to pressure. Second man's job is to support the pressure. And third man's job is to cover all the things that beat the first and second man. So again, in twos, your first man is the first man, and your second man is the second and third man. So as the second man in twos, you have the hardest job because you have to both support and cover at the same time. This is a difficult balance to find. A lot of times you end up supporting leaning too much into supporting or leaning too much into covering. It's really difficult to find that perfect balance in between. But when we're looking in this diamond game, we want to ask ourselves at all times, is the first man applying pressure? And is the second man supporting that pressure while covering the net? So that's what we're going to be looking for. How effective is this first man pressure in Diamond versus in GrandChamp? How effective is the second man supporting coverage in Diamond versus GrandChamp? This is a small thing, but notice here how the ball is kind of bouncing into a roll. If the ball is rolling when it gets to the wall, it's going to stay on the wall. But if the ball is bouncing when it gets to the wall, then that's when it's going to come off the wall. So what you should do in this position is you let this roll until it gets to the corner and then you touch it. But notice here, because he touches it before it gets to the wall, he adds a bounce to it. And now that it's bouncing when it gets to the wall, that's what causes it to come off the wall. And this is a lot harder to deal with. But if he just let it roll and then took off with it, he could just roll straight up the wall and have a lot more control over this play. So we see here, this is their first man. He comes in, he does apply a little bit of pressure, but he doesn't really do much to commit, and then he commits backwards, and you want to avoid this. I think the idea here is good. He's here applying pressure to the opponent just to keep him from having something for free. But if he's going to go and if he's going to challenge, he needs to challenge forward And if he's not going to challenge, he needs to turn around and leave, because he's telling his second man, where is he? Where's the second man? Here. As soon as he turns like this, he's telling his second man, hey, I'm leaving. You can come in. Even if he doesn't mean to, right? This is his body language. So his body language is saying, I'm leaving. I want you to come in. So it's important that, especially in solo queue, you know, these guys are actually queued up. So it's funny that they double commit, but especially in solo queue, the only communication you have if you're not using voice chat is your body language. We want to be clear about telling our teammates what we're doing based on our movement. Oh my god. So this decision to hit this ball over the net here isn't too efficient. Ideally, what you would want to do is, if you're going to go for this, I think the idea, maybe this is what his idea was, because I could see him trying to like touch it across here, land, and then follow it. That's a good idea. But execution wise, he just tips it out middle. This is tough. This is a risky spot to put yourself in if you're not too comfortable mechanically. I think he had plenty of time and plenty of boost to just drive up the wall, clear this out as well. Crazy follow-up on that save, and then even crazier pinch to still get the ball in the net. Oh my god. That's a little funky goal. Okay, a little break dancing. That'll happen. Okay, so right here, this is the perfect scenario. We have a first man and we have a second man. It's obvious who's who here, right? The first man's the guy going at the ball. The second man is the guy who's back. First man's job is to pressure. First man's doing a good job of pressuring here. The problem here is that our second man is not doing a good job of supporting that pressure. And so this is what I was talking about. When you have a second man whose job is to support but also cover, it's easy to lean into one more than the other, and then you're out of position. Here, he's leaning more into covering, and because of that, he's missing out on that support. So there's a big gap in the coverage right here. And if the opponents win a 50 into this space, they have support as a second man where we don't, or where orange team doesn't. So right now, big gap in between our rotation. We're losing out on that support. So when this 50 happens here, that ball floats out into the middle, and their second man, even though he was way out of position waiting over here, can turn and almost get to that ball before this guy. So we missed out on an opportunity for a free shot. If this person had played more aggressively into the support position, instead of leaning so much into coverage, if they're sitting around here when this happens, now that's a scoreable opportunity. There's nobody between him and the net. Because he's so far into covering, now by the time he gets there, that becomes a 50 instead of a free shot. This is a good demo. Happens with the ball. Okay, that's a fair back. He backs off. Pretty smart. Typically here, this player should go to the backboard. That's really the only threatening position. If he shoots it, our teammate here has it covered. Anything to the backboard is what we want to be covering from this position. That way here, we don't let it bounce, and then he can get back to it before us. We would catch it on the backboard and have control of it right away. And then mechanically, the recovery out of this flip is pretty inefficient. So we lose a lot of speed, we lose a lot of time, and that's going to cost us a lot of boost to make up for it. I think we'll see this often in Diamond, is just hit the ball across from the corner into the midfield. If I put it middle, that's a scoring opportunity. The reality of it is this is my opponent's coverage. And so if I play it like this, we're actually playing it into the opponent's coverage, and we're not going to score too often here unless the opponents make a big mistake. So we don't want to rely on our opponents making mistakes. We want to force them to make mistakes. And here, we're just touching the ball middle. We're not forcing a mistake out of this opponent. We're playing it into him pretty easily. So we're probably going to see this in Diamond a lot. You won't see this happen nearly as often in Grand Champion. Definitely should have taken that boost. That gave this guy a healthy position. If we take that boost, then he's definitely going to be more uncomfortable here. This looping here, you might see this a lot in Diamond. We're not going to see this as much in GrandChamp. Anytime you're doing donuts like this to turn around and go somewhere, you're probably cutting somebody off. And that's what happens here. So his teammate is in a position facing forward to this. He can move forward the whole time and shoot. This guy's, again, his body language is selling, I'm leaving. And then he turns around with no momentum and cuts back into the play. He leaves the screen, comes back, and now we have a double commit where we could have had a shot. This recovery is pretty inefficient. Right here, we'd want to see a speed flip. That would be optimal. If we speed flip right here, we can save some of our boost. We get supersonic sooner, and we're just overall in a better position quicker. Right here, he is supersonic now, so we see the trail, he's supersonic. He picks up boost, he's still supersonic, and in a straight line uses boost. Again, it's inefficiency. Sorry, I don't know how to fix the mic issue, unfortunately. I'm looking down at my output. You guys can see my output here. This is gonna be really funky, but if you see down here, right, like the output's going into the yellow. It's almost like inching into the red. It's chilling in the green. I'm not really sure what else I can do to turn it all the way up, but it's all the way up here. Sorry, we'll have to test out some fixes for it. Conscious Prophet says, first man has plenty of space to generate a solid shot from a good angle. If second man holds his position, he can get the rebound. That would have been the efficient play, not all that rotating. It just got louder. Oh, okay. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did, but excellent. If you're talking, you did something that made it louder. Might have been mic. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Well, problem solved. I think the moral of the story is if you just complain about it, it'll get fixed. If you're talking about this play, in this scenario, if you're saying this is the first man has plenty of space to generate a solid shot from a good angle, I don't disagree that this guy has a good angle if he turns and shoots. But the problem is that his shot is going to come a lot later than this person's shot. This person can shoot sooner. If this person can shoot sooner, they have less time to recover, giving us more opportunity to score. It's kind of lagging. Is that the case for anybody else? Because I don't see any dropped frames or anything. Okay. Where is this POV? Okay, so this guy's got 76 boost. Gets a solid clear out. He gets beat here. Instead of turning and going back for the corner with 76 and then to net, he should, I mean, this turn is fine if he turns this way, but he should turn and do this and leave room for his teammate to come in, take over, and then he's in the net covering afterwards. So we turn and we rotate ball side, then we get in the way of our teammate. Fortunately, he doesn't take the boost from him because this guy needs the boost. But now we're both in the corner at a really awkward position, really awkward angle. He covers the backboard well, but misses the touch. So he's in position to do this, and then he flips the wrong way. It's unfortunate. And then Dean now has a really solid opportunity to take off. Okay, in Diamond, this is actually a huge problem. This happens all the time. So when somebody's taking off... Okay, interesting. When somebody's taking off from the wall, the first instinct in the mid ranks is typically to air roll to get right side up, right? So we see that happen here. He jumps, and the first thing he does is air roll to get level. because that's where he's comfortable controlling his car, is right side up. It's really important that you get comfortable controlling your car at every angle, because ideally what he should do is, instead of rolling first, he should point his nose to the ball first. Once your nose is pointed at the ball and you're boosting at the ball, then you can air roll however you want, and it's not going to affect your angle to the ball. You'll get to the ball on a straight line efficiently. So the first thing he should have done here is, his nose is pretty much almost lined up with the ball. He should have turned a little bit this way to get himself like really lined up with the ball, and then jump and pull his nose back so he's on a straight line to the ball, and then air roll. It's going to make your aerials off the wall a lot more comfortable if you just focus on pointing your nose at the ball first. It's a good idea for a shot. This guy goes all the way back, takes the boost, and then doesn't really watch the play too well, and then goes all the way back. So again, first man's pressuring, second man is not supporting. This should have been his ball for free a long time ago. So the opponents, they get to get comfortable. They take their time. And then he gets beat to a ball. Like, look how long this ball is floating for. So from 253, it takes him 7 seconds to challenge the ball floating for free. Because he's so far back, he's worried about getting beat to the ball. If he's playing closer when this happens, that's his ball for free right there. And we keep the opponents under pressure a lot longer. And then again, he rotates down the same side as the ball. He's just getting in the way of his teammate. His teammate's going to rotate forward. Yeah, and he cuts his teammate off. I mean, not a horrible idea if he has boost and his teammate doesn't. But we see his teammate has boost. This should have been his teammate's ball. Yeah, him taking that long to turn around, he slows down, he loses momentum. All that time, this guy just comes in and boosts. Like, this guy is behind his teammate. If he just let his teammate follow this right here, well, his teammate had a poor recovery, to be fair, actually. I didn't see all that. But this guy's way behind him. If his teammate gets a good recovery here and drives through and takes over, he's never getting demoed by this guy. Okay, not a bad shot. This is decent. It's not optimal, but it's a good shot off of a bounce. The problem is that, again, we're playing into the opponent's coverage. So the opponents are both covering this area, and we're just shooting right into it without any direction change. So it's not difficult for the opponents here to read what's coming and react to it. What we want to look for in situations like this is a more unpredictable play, something with a little bit more direction change. So we want to hook around the ball a little bit more so that we have opportunity to shoot it in any direction. Instead of coming directly from behind it right here, we only have one direction that we can shoot the ball. It's a lot easier to read. All right, so our teammate here shouldn't be challenging. His teammate just made a play on offense. He's rotating back. He's recovering still. As the last man back, it's pretty important that most of the time, there are some times that it works, but most of the time, you don't want to challenge as the last man back. If you're challenging as the last man back, then you're the only, like, if your challenge goes poorly, then your net's open. So the idea is, I want to challenge at a time when my teammate will have replaced me by the time I get to the ball. So he should fake challenge here, delay it, try and buy time for his teammate to get back, and then once his teammate's in a position to replace him, then he can safely challenge. So we lose the challenge and the ball is floating at the net. The net is open. Dean might get back in time. He doesn't. Yeah. So challenging as last man back, if you lose your challenge, you're likely going to get scored on. Am I GC? Yes. Yeah, I'm GC3, SSL. I float in between the two. I have been SSL since season 1 of free to play though. It's a big demo. So it's right here. He's in the midfield. He slows down and loses all his momentum when there's an opponent behind him. Just not something we want to do. He needs to keep speed here to avoid that. His teammate scores. Nice. Oh, this opponent doesn't go for the ball when it's free. That's crazy. All right, what's he got here? Okay, so in Diamond, we're probably going to see this a lot in comparison to GrandChamp. In Diamond, we're going to see these big booms, these big clears, right? This ball is free. There's nobody challenging him. There's nobody threatening the space that he's in. And so this is a free ball. It's like so much time, so much space to do something and keep the ball close to him, or force the opponents to challenge him. I mean, granted, he's somewhat low on boost, but there's an opportunity here to keep possession. And just by banging this away, and I think he had a good bit of, yeah, he uses a lot of boost here. So he's got 55. He uses a lot of boost to rush back here. Flips after he's supersonic, so the flip doesn't really do anything for him. And then here, he could have had around 50 boost. And then he could play this ball closer this way, grab this boost, make a play off the wall. He could bang this up to his teammate, but here he just kind of bangs it forward and loses possession. So again, the mentality of like, if I just bang this off the corner and out to middle, it'll be a good pass. This is typically just not the case. I mean, maybe this could just be like I'm ignorant to playing it at a diamond level, right? So it's possible that at diamond, getting this out middle, these guys might make mistakes a lot, and then it becomes a good pass we score off of. But if you're trying to rank up, like you might win against a diamond doing this, or you might score against a diamond doing this, but as you start pushing into champion and grand champion, this is just hardly ever going to work unless there's nobody midfield. You're just getting it middle quickly. But if there's people defending the midfield, doing this is often just going to be a give up of possession. So this is a free ball. This is the way you want to think about a free ball. The goal of a free ball is, how do I maintain possession? Because if I maintain possession, then I can generate a scoring opportunity. And if I generate more scoring opportunities than my opponents, I should score more than them. So increasing the amount of possession I have directly correlates to increasing the amount of goals I score. So when we have a free ball like this, what we want to focus on is one of 3 touches. There's 3 touches that we can use to keep possession. The first touch is a shot on target that we think is going to go in 90% of the time that we take it. This is the ultimate goal of possession. That's what we're looking for. So if we see an opportunity to shoot that we think will go in 9 times out of 10, then that's the first thing we do on a free ball, is we just rip a shot. If we can't find that opportunity to score, then we look for a first touch. A first touch is any touch at all that gives you another touch. So it could be a pop-up into the air that you want to follow up for an air dribble. It could be a soft catch that you're keeping the ball close to you for your car, or close to your car. It could be a pop to the backboard that you're reading for a double tap. Excuse me. Any touch at all that gives you, the person who touched the ball, the next touch. The third option is a pass. And these are in order of efficiency. So the most efficient thing you can do is, first, if you have a shot that goes in 9 times out of 10 on a free ball, you take it. If you can't, then you ask yourself, can I get a first touch? If I can't get a first touch, then I look for a pass. These are the only 3 touches you can get to keep possession. So in this scenario, can I shoot this in a way that goes in 9 times out of 10? The answer is probably no, I can't. So instead, I'm going to look for a first touch. Is there somewhere that I can first touch this that I can get a second touch? In this scenario, yeah, we have this wall here, this surface that we can bounce the ball off of back to myself. Or as the ball comes down, I can slow down and let it bounce and jump to try and air dribble it. There's a couple opportunities for a first touch here. So if we take a first touch, we're going to have possession and we can threaten the net a lot easier. What's the best air mechanic you guys can do, and what's your rank? Double flip reset, if not just a reset. Reset, double reset, and I'm diamond 2, diamond 3, 1 flip reset. So that's impressive that you're able to do that mechanic, and you should be practicing difficult mechanics because that elevates your overall mechanical skill. But what I will say is that the most important thing, you can get to GrandChamp purely on the fundamentals. So you could get to Grand Champion with never scoring a flip reset, never getting a flip reset. Again, not to say you shouldn't practice it. It's super valuable to know every mechanic in the game. But if you're looking to increase your rank and play more consistently, then there's a lot of value in focusing on the fundamentals like ground shooting, aerial car control, drifting, like dribbling. The raw fundamentals of the game are going to get you a lot further than if you like before you master the fundamentals, start going for flip resets in all of your games. See, like this guy, Darren Palmer, you're saying you can do double reset pogo musty. It's not real hard, and I'm diamond 3 and 1s. My brother in Christ, I'm Supersonic Legend, and I have never even attempted a double reset pogo musty. So, I mean, again, not to say you shouldn't practice these difficult mechanics, but you don't need them to get to the highest ranks in this game. Okay, so right here, first man, this is our first man. His job is the pressure. He is not applying pressure. So the first man's not doing his job in this moment. And I think we're going to see that's a big difference between Diamond and GrandChamp, is these GrandChamp players are going to be a lot more consistent about doing their role, playing their role effectively. I'm a freestyler. I mean, I believe it. There's a ton of freestylers who are like the mid ranks of the game, and like they have better mechanics than me. But at the end of the day, playing Rocket League when you're trying to rank up, it's a whole lot more than just your mechanics. Yeah, so this player, again, as first man in this situation, his teammate throws the ball forward. He backs up. He's got 100 boost. His teammate doesn't. He is now the first man. He doesn't apply any pressure to this play. So this opponent gets to shoot for free. So if we look here, now the opponent has a free ball, right? In this scenario, is there a shot that he can take that goes in 9 times out of 10? He believes there is. If he shoots this top corner here, this guy's turning this way, this guy's turning this way, that shot's going to go behind him. That probably goes in 9 times out of 10. So he takes that shot first, it goes in. Am I doing VOD reviews or only this one? This is a Diamond 2 replay review, and then we're going to do a Grand Champion replay review and compare the two and see what the differences are. Okay, this guy's doing something really smart here. His teammate just challenged, and his teammate's overcommitted, trying to recover back into the play. Notice what he does here. He fakes. He puts pressure on the opponent, but he doesn't dive in and commit, because right now, he's the last man back. He's waiting until his teammate has gotten enough time to recover and get back and replace him. And then once his teammate's back, his teammate turns where he shouldn't. This teammate should be covering behind him. But again, he gives him time to get back. Now he challenges once he's been replaced. Should second man have pushed that? Pushed what? This guy? You're talking about the shot right here. He had momentum. So he gets this clear. Now right here, he can safely go back. Are you saying right here, should he have pushed it? He does. He kind of does once he realizes this guy's not going for it. But he's waiting for this guy to go. Sees he's not going. Now he's like, okay, I guess I have to go. But it's at that point just too late. How long will this be? It'll be 2 replays. So just a little bit over an hour probably. Uh-oh. So again, we see rotating ball side in Diamond happens quite often, and this is what it causes. When you're rotating ball side, you're getting in your teammate's way. Nice, it's a good little exchange. Okay, let's see. I think he makes the same mistake here. Yeah, see, so the first thing he does is he air rolls, right? So right now, where's the ball? The ball is over here, kind of in front of him to the right. The first thing he does is he air rolls to get himself level so he can get comfortable, and then he points his nose to the ball. And so his line is going to look something like this. And it's just really inefficient. If the first thing he does is point his nose to the ball and then air rolls, then his line is going to look more like this, which is a lot more efficient. It's like, see here, he's like fighting gravity to try and get back to this. First thing you do is point your nose to the ball and you start boosting, you're going to be on a straight line to the ball. So this guy again, like in this scenario, in a lot of scenarios, as the first man, he's doing a lot of going back and then turning around into the play, going back, turning right back around into the play, and he's cutting his teammate off very often. His teammate sees, okay, he's going back, I'm gonna go in and challenge this, and it makes more sense for our like this guy to challenge the ball here. He's got a better angle, but this guy then turns and goes with him. Now we're both challenging. Now if one of us gets beat, we both get beat. Fortunately, this guy gets back quick enough, but he's still 1v2. Has to make the save. He does. It's good. So we don't see too much of a focus on possession from the Diamonds. A lot of it is like a lot of their touches are just big booms. And then here, this guy completely ignores the ball. He's got a teammate back. Both his opponents are in front of him. He could just play the ball back to his teammate to maintain possession, but instead he just goes flying by the ball, takes the boost, and leaves the opponent to get possession. So there's not a huge emphasis on possession in these lobbies. Yeah, I'm not Luke. I am Verge. I'm a former RLCS coach. I just retired about a month and a half, 2 months ago. And I'm now the director of coaching at the GrandChamp Bootcamp. Luke is moving today, so he was unable to do the event. Nice, that was a good pass. Uh-oh. He just gets dusted off that. So right here, he's not thinking ahead. He's reacting. So he watches the opponent. Okay. He's watching the opponent and reacting to what he's doing. So he's saying, okay, the opponent's coming this way. I'm going to cover this way. He's not thinking about what the opponent could do, right? So he could cut it and threaten his net. That's the most threatening thing. So he should be prioritizing covering that cut to the net, but he's just reacting. He sees this, so he covers this. And then he sees the cut, and then he reacts to it. So in Diamond, there's probably a lot of reacting going on in comparison to GrandChamp. There's probably a lot more anticipation. All right, let's check out the GrandChamp replay and see what the differences are. So this next replay is going to be a Grand Champion level replay. GrandChamp 1. Okay, so first, like immediately, right? Notice the difference between this guy when he makes a play as first man and the Diamond games. When he's leaving, he's showing his teammate he's leaving, he commits to leaving. Okay, Timmy, I appreciate it. He's leaving, he's showing his teammate he's leaving, and he commits to leaving. That gives his teammate the confidence to go in here. Why don't I stream this from my own channel? Just because the events have been taking place on here, so we wanted to just, instead of splitting them up and doing one event on my channel, one event on his, we're just doing the events on his channel for the school, the free school program. Nice, so good power into that shot. Okay, notice here, right? This guy's taking possession. Really good job of controlling this, taking possession and taking it to the wall to try and keep possession. He ends up flicking it.
Hey, buddy.
I don't think he anticipates the demo here. He's trying to beat this guy. The demo happens and it kind of makes his play a little bit inefficient because he's now flicking over nobody. It's hard to read that, but he takes possession. He's looking to keep possession and force the opponent into a commitment. A missed shot opportunity. This is definitely a little over aggressive. He comes in and just runs his teammate out of the way. Not super efficient at all. And then he own goals. Nice. So, oh, and then he leaves. Okay, so you know what? Diamond is no different than GrandChamp. That is hilarious. That's the one replay we found for GrandChamp. That's so funny. Oh my goodness. Alright, we'll pick a different one. There is no difference. Is this the same one? What happened? Yes, what happened? Whoops. I can't believe that. That's hilarious. Turns out GrandChamp is worse than Diamond. Yeah, that guy was definitely on tilt. Alright, so this is I mean, this is definitely a little bit more controlled. But this is a mistake GrandChamp players make too often as well, is all this air rolling is just so unnecessary. Right? Like, look at how often his nose is facing the ball, right? So boom, nose isn't facing the ball. Not facing the ball. Now it's facing the ball. Great. Okay, now we're threatening. But the entire time on the way up to this, all this extra air roll is just so unnecessary. His play is so much more inefficient. He's using a lot more boost. And he's just not, like, he could have landed a reset up here. He could have started an air dribble. But either way, it's kind of the same mistake that we see Diamond's making at a different level. This guy's just doing it a little bit more efficiently. He's not, like, he does first put his nose at the ball, and then he overshoots it and then over air rolls with all these corrections. He rotates ball side. He focuses on staying out of his teammate's way, but that rotation is still a little bit inefficient. Now in twos, rotating ball side isn't the worst thing. You just have to make sure you avoid your teammate when you're doing it. But a lot of times, it's still more efficient to just go through the midfield. It looks good though. Okay, yeah, you're right. It does look kind of sick. A good pace. That boost steal is a little questionable. Kind of works out though. So we see a lot more control mechanically so far. I think that's, you know, that's easy to predict. Higher ranks are going to have a higher level of control. That's a good idea. I like what they're looking for here. So notice, first man is applying pressure. We noticed this in Diamond. Diamond, the second man didn't do a great job of supporting that pressure. But here in GrandChamp, we see the second man is doing a really good job of positioning to support that pressure, but isn't so much out of position or like so focused on supporting that he's not covering still. Like if a 50 happens here, he's still covering it. But he is up here supporting that play. And then notice here, right, the first thing he does when he lands and recovers is he flips early so that he goes supersonic sooner. No, Tazzy, I'm not Luke. I'm Verge. I'm a former RLCS coach who just recently retired, and now I run the coaching operations at the GrandChamp Bootcamp. So I work with Luke now. Nice. So here we see he's anticipating stuff, right? Instead of just reacting to the opponent, this person is anticipating the opponent's movement. He's delaying his challenge because his teammate's not back. If he turns and challenges and gets beat, the net's open. So he waits as long as he has to, which in this case, he has to wait for a shot. So notice he's cutting in, right? He's anticipating that threat. He's not waiting for the opponent to push it this way to react this way. He's getting ahead of the opponent and what the opponent can do here. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's hard to read. This we call this the turbo flick. It's like you try to flick the ball and you mess it up, but then you touch it on the way back around and it still gets some kind of like hard to read flick. That's unlucky for him. I think he defended that well. He just didn't react to that extra touch at the end. Oh, freebie. Excellent. Great control from his teammate, the first man here. So he comes in, And he focuses on getting a touch here that he can follow. So again, keeping the ball close so that he can keep possession. Gets a nice pass out middle. The opponents block it. It's a good challenge from the first man, applying pressure. Great aerial, right? So look at the aerial here. The first thing he does off the ground, and this is what you want to do off the walls as well. The first thing he does is jump and point his nose at the ball. He's not air rolling, because the priority isn't to air roll and get comfortable right side up. The priority is to get on a straight line to the ball. So really efficient aerial, and then he air rolls to get comfortable or get the touch that he wants. What replays or demos am I analyzing? I just pulled some random ones off of ball chasing here. So this is a GrandChamp 1. We just did a Diamond 2 before, and we're comparing the differences. So he gets bumped way out. He can't really push forward and support this guy. Notice here, we talked about it earlier. Instead of just shooting straight, he could just jump and try and shoot it straight. But notice how he gets around the ball and gives himself an angle, because now he can threaten to shoot at any angle into net. But if he's just directly behind the ball, all he can really do is speed the ball up straight. So getting an angle for your shot really helps out as far as the defender goes. Like, he now has to think about a lot more coverage, because this guy can jump and shoot this in a lot more directions. So more ball side rotations seems to be a common theme in every rank. It seems to just be a Rocket League thing. What's a good way to get consistent in your games? Set up a consistent warm-up routine. If you're doing the same warm-up every day, or every time you're going to play before you play, then you should be at a similar level of, mechanical comfortability before you get into a game, and that should help with consistency. So he misses out on supporting his teammate because he goes back for boost, and we see that costs him a goal. So if right here he played forward with his teammate on offense, he's got 34 boost. That's plenty to keep collecting pads and going forward. Then when this happens, he would be there now to come in and score this. So he missed out on supporting his teammate there. Risky challenge, but it pays off. A little panicky on the double jump. Good fake. Uh-oh, his teammate. I don't know if his teammate gets bumped or what. Okay, his teammate gets bumped. Almost recovers into it. Opponent misses the shot. That's fortunate for the blue team. Again, really good touch to keep control. Tries to follow it. It's good pace though. Look at like the difference in speed of recovery, right? Like in Diamond, they were getting this touch and then that was it. In GrandChamp, he gets this touch, stays with it, gets another touch, stays with it, and finds another touch. So the recoveries are a lot more efficient at this level. To be very, very efficient with how quickly you can recover back into the play. Oh, really good read. So again, anticipation instead of reaction. Right here, he's anticipating a shot. Like, no way he reacts to this in time. This is definitely him anticipating that shot coming. Good coverage. Patience, a good fake, right? So he's last man back here. He's wary of a demo or a bump or a challenge. He could technically take this ball if he's quick, but he doesn't really seem comfortable with it. So he fakes, bails out, lets the opponent hit it, and then he can collect it for free because the opponent's not going to get to it quickly. So yeah, there's no threat here. He knew the opponent was low on boost. All the opponent can do here is touch the ball middle. And again, we talked about it in that Diamond replay. Just touching the ball middle isn't a good pass. If he touches it middle, this guy can just follow it and take control of it for free. Is this GrandChamp? Yeah, this is GrandChamp. I can do that too. Should I be GrandChamp? Well, I don't know. I don't know what your gameplay looks like. If you can do something mechanically, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can do it under the same pressure at the same pace in these lobbies, right? Like, if you can do a flip reset in free play, it doesn't mean that you can score a flip reset on a professional player, right? So it really just depends on your ability to perform at pace, under pressure, and read the game. Oh, almost a really good redirect down. His teammate follows it and doesn't find the goal. That's so unfortunate. That's really unlucky. But great support here. He bangs the ball forward because this guy's out of position. His teammate jumps up, finds that touch down. He follows it up for the shot. Bangs it off the crossbar, unfortunately. Oh, nice first touch. Don't know what this guy's doing. He's blocking his own teammate. Again, see how quickly he transitions into a flip? So he lands, turns, boosts a little bit, and then flips. And now he's supersonic. So he gets supersonic really quickly. So if you're on offense and the ball is on the wall, in the corner, or back wall, what's the play instead of centering? So it depends on the circumstance. There really is no, this is the best play. You have to play it into space. So if there's nobody in net, right, then passing the ball makes sense. If you pass the middle, because there's nobody there to clear it, right? But if there's somebody sitting in net and there's nobody covering your teammate out here, then the best play is to try and get the ball out to your teammate in space. So realistically, the best play is just playing the ball into space that your team has control, and that just depends on the situation. But a lot of people just think if I hit it off the corner or from the backboard to middle, it should be, my teammate should be there to score it, even if there's defenders in net. So here, right, this is an easy ball that he could just bang. He could just hit this as hard as he can and send it upfield and be on their side of the field, but they would have possession. So the difference that we see in Diamond and GrandChamp is, so far, the biggest difference is that in GrandChamp, these guys are doing a lot better job of keeping possession when they have an opportunity or they have space. So he has space, he keeps possession, he baits the opponent into his space, he makes the opponent use more boost, he makes the opponent commit, and overall just gets a trade that's a lot stronger than if he just bangs the ball away and gives possession away. So now 2 of his opponents have committed and they have possession. Game sense is the best way to rank up. Yeah, so what I will say is game sense and mechanics. Obviously, you need both. If you're good at one and not the other, that will carry you into the mid to high ranks. You have to get like a certain standard of both to be GrandChamp, and then SSL you have to be pretty good at both of them. So mechanics take longer to learn because you have to execute repetitions, and you have to put the work in. You can't be taught a mechanic. If I teach you how to do a mechanic, you can't just do it first try. But game sense is a lot more teachable because I can teach you to make a decision and you can make that decision first try. So if I say, hey, instead of challenging here, you should fake, you can then immediately decide to fake, and then you've now made the right decision. But mechanically, I can't say, hey, do a flip reset here, and you just do a flip reset. You have to practice it. Now, granted, game sense does come from practice. Like, you might now fake in the wrong situations when you think it's the right one. But I do think game sense and positioning is important. Mechanics is important. I think they're equally important to each other if you're trying to rank up. But game sense is probably the easier way to rank up with less time invested. It's a good demo. He shouldn't have turned. He should have let his teammate turn. On Rocket League, everybody says I play like a plat too, so how can I get better at ball control? Anything mechanical just has to be reps. You just have to put reps in and practice. Just like anything in real life. Like, if you want to get better at juggling, what do? You practice juggling. What's your opinion on players taking boost rather than going for their kickoff? If it's a switch up, I think it's fine. Like if you're normally going for kickoff and then every now and then you go for boost and you're like faking it, it's fine. But if it's like all you do, it's probably because the person is tilted and it's just a bad play. I have a friend, plat in ones but almost GC in twos, but he does play with friends, but they quit the game lately. Wow, platinum platinum in ones, but almost GrandChamp in twos is crazy. So what happens here? He gets the save out to the corner, following the ball to the corner. Okay, this is where the mistake is. Chintz also follows the ball to the corner. So this happens. This shouldn't be... One of these guys shouldn't be boosting to the corner. They both do. That's the mistake. They double up their coverage, and now they're in an awkward spot for it. Yeah. Is it bad to solo queue in Diamond to SSL? No, I've been solo queue pretty much my entire ranked career, and I've been able to get SSL most seasons, so it's not bad. It's not as easy as queuing with teammates. You know, if you're queuing with the same teammates over and over, you can play better with them because you know how they play. But it's not bad to solo queue. I would argue that you probably well, yeah, it's hard to say if you'd improve faster doing one or the other, but it's not bad. You should be fine solo queuing. You should be fine queuing with a team. The experience is probably a little better queuing with a team or with friends, though. Nice, so good pressure from the first man. So in this game, we see that there's pretty much constant pressure on the play the entire time. In Diamond, there were a lot of scenarios where the opponents don't have pressure on the play. But in this game, there's pretty much been pressure on every single play. Oh my god, that almost went in. That was a good fake from the opponent. So again, we talked about when you're last man back, diving into a challenge is really unsafe. And in Diamond, they were doing it a lot. Right here, he fakes. He's last man back. His teammate's not recovered. He could dive in and challenge this, but if he loses that 50, his net's open. So he fakes. He buys time for his teammate to get back. The opponent bites on the fake. He gets possession off of it for very low commitment. So there's very low risk here. And now he gets beat. His teammate's already back. So delaying your challenge as a last man back is super important. Big challenge win. Here's an opportunity. Gets it around the defender. So sometimes it's better to just beat the opponent than to shoot at the net, right? Like if we shoot here, the opponent probably saves it. But if we just beat the opponent, now there's a chance that my teammate can come in and score. Pressure on the play, support on the pressure, and that's the game. So I think we see the biggest difference is in that pace of play comes from that first man applying pressure efficiently. In Diamond, we saw the opponent, or we saw the team, the first man was really, really ineffective with always applying pressure. But in GrandChamp, we see that there's always a first man applying pressure to the play. And so that when a mistake happens, someone is there to punish it. Or if a mistake isn't happening, the first man is there to try and force a mistake out of the opponent instead of just waiting for a mistake to happen. But yeah, that's going to be it for this event. I appreciate you guys coming out. I really enjoyed it. We're going to be doing more of these. I'm going to be doing these once a month. And Luke is going to be doing them once a month as well. So every 2 weeks, we'll have an event on this channel for Rocket League. What's the best things to focus on getting into Diamond? I have a video. It might be a little dated because it was a couple years ago. But if you go to my channel, Verge, there's a video on there that says what mechanics to what is it called, what are the best mechanics to learn for your rank, and I go over what you should learn for Diamond, and I think Luke has one on his channel as well. Diamond game seems scared to go in. Yeah, the first man was a lot more hesitant. This was GrandChamp. The one before that was Diamond. Yeah, that was GrandChamp. What do I think are the best things to focus on while getting into Diamond? I mean, I think at that rank you could probably focus on getting better dribbles and flicks, and getting really consistent with shooting on target. I'm sorry, I don't mean to I don't mean to be advertising my channel. That's just I know I know I have a video on what mechanics to learn for your rank. I'm pretty sure Luke does too. I don't know what it would be called. Yeah. This was all an elaborate promotion for my own YouTube channel. Yeah, no problem. All right, guys, I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy your Sunday. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys the next event in 2 weeks. Until then, peace.